this is my first official, yeah, that was cheesy. My first official shop update. I am bringing this to you, I would say live, but it's not. I'm bringing this to you via video because you have spoken. My customers and my students have said, it would be really great if you, when you bring something new into the shop, if you can explain why you're bringing it in, why you chose it, and what we can make with it. Like, what would you do, Nicole, with this yarn? So, I'm happy to do so, especially right now because I have some new yarn in front of me that's going to be going into the shop this weekend. For you guys, you'll get access to it as soon as you see this video. It's available for purchase. But I wanted to show you what I'm bringing in. Okay, so we do have some new bases coming in, but I wanted to start off with some new colorways of some current yarns. These are pretty like flamboyantly awesome and colorful. Of course, we're talking Madeline Tosh. So popular request, the Discotheque colorway of Madeline Tosh that I had in the Twist Light base, which is their fingering with a good twist, so it's great for socks. It's kind of my favorite base from Madeline Tosh because it's so versatile, and I'll go into that in just a second. So, like, one of you said, oh, I'd really love that in Farm Twist, and then a couple more people said it. Well, you got it. So, the Discotheque colorway, which is a special colorway. It might be available forever, but as of right now, it's not. So, this was the May, I believe the May colorway, from special colorway from Madeline Tosh. So, we have Farm Twist, and the lighting in my house might not be doing this justice, but it is gorgeous. And we now have it in Farm Twist, okay? And of course, I don't buy tons of one color. So when I bring in a colorway, it's usually there's 4 skeins. And when there's 4 skeins, when they're gone, unless I can reorder them in the future. When we work with, just for those of you that aren't familiar, when we, as yarn shop owners, or even if you purchase from Madeline Tosh, or any hand dyer. And a lot of times you're having to wait. They hand dye for you. And that's how it works with shops. We get some very exclusive colorways that you can't always get on their websites. And so when I put an order in, I have to wait not only for how long it takes them to dye and ship, but also there are other orders in front of me. So when I get a Madeline Tosh order in, I have at least waited 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes 8 to 12 weeks to get this yarn in. So it's special when it comes in. So we've got Discotheque on Farm Twist, which is a DK weight yarn. Fantastic hat yarn. Love making hats out of this yarn. Also, I have knit 2 sweaters. 1 sweater and 1 kind of like sweater jacket out of this yarn. And I love it. Okay? Got just a nice texture to it. Now, the rest of the yarns that I got in were from this. So this Barbie movie's coming out, and it's apparently really popular. Is it out yet? Is it coming out? I don't know. You can tell that I'm like not jumping to go see it. Interested in it, but I'm not like really gonna go see it in the theaters. But the colorways that are coming out, like fluorescence and bright colors, are in right now. It's summer. And plus, I will go crazy for a really bright, fun sock yarn. So what I've got here is a bundle of yarns. And I'm not going to sell them as bundles. They'll be sold as single skeins. I mean, if you want to buy all 4, because this is a collection, you are more than welcome to. But this is a bundle, and it's themed after Barbie stuff, okay? So what we got here is this is a mild, soft, colorful, but on a white base. So an off-white base. So this color is called Rumor. Okay, so again, this is Twist Light. And if you go into the shop, you will see that I have pretty well stocked Twist Light with lots of varieties of color. And one reason I do that is because this is a very versatile yarn. Twist Light makes fantastic socks because the twist is really good, and it comes with nylon. So when you knit socks, you kind of need something in there that's going to hold up, because wool or cotton or linen will eventually get rubbed out nylon is a great way to reinforce the structure of what you've been knitting. And so when you do any, like, if there's any abrasion, the yarn will last longer with nylon, okay? So this is 25% nylon, 75% superwash. But the other reason why, not just for socks, shawls. This yarn is super drapey in shawls. It's a perfect, it's like a thin enough fingering weight that in shawls it creates some drape. It has a nice, it almost has a little bit of a sheen to it. And sweaters knit out of this yarn are amazing. So I feel like it does kind of all it needs to do. For a fingering weight, it can be socks, check. It can be a sweater, check. And it can be shawls or cowls or anything like that. Hats, socket hats, perfect. So that's why I carry this base, because I feel like it can do a lot. So if you end up seeing a colorway and you're just like, Nicole, I love this colorway, I don't know what I'm going to do with this yarn, and you only want to buy one, just know that you can add it to shawls. Either you can knit a single skein shawl, or you can add it to another, you can pair it with another yarn and make a 2 skein shawl. You can just make socks out of it. You can make 2 pairs of shorties out of this baby, because it's 420 yards. So that's why I love Twist Light. So that color that I was holding up, because it's gorgeous, is called Across the Universe. And again, my lighting will not be doing this justice, so I'll probably show a picture up in the corner of the screen. Then we have this one here that is just, it's not going to show up right on the camera, because it's got purple and blue in it. And when that happens, the camera doesn't like to try, it could not figure it out. You have to see this color in person. It's called Texas Tea, and it is unbelievably amazing. It's coming out very blue right now, and it's more purple, but it is a blue purple. It's ultraviolet. You know when you see the ultraviolet lights, the purple ultraviolet light, that is this color. And so this is a solid ultraviolet light color. Now what I love about this, and someone might go, Nicole, why would I like need a single skein of that, like a whole skein? Well, one, in a shawl, so like I have this dream to put these two together and make a beautiful shawl together. These kind of bright, intense colors make excellent pops of color in shawls. Or in a sweater, when you're doing some sort of color work or a slip stitch design, these are amazing. But even just like a bright cowl or a lace single skein shawl, and so you've got like a black jacket in the winter and you've got this pop of color, is just stunning. Or in your hat, making a hat like out of this. So purple. And then there's this one here that's called Indigo Space Dreams, which is a speckle and a variegated yarn all in one. This one is fantastic. Greens, blues, purples, pinks, black. It's just fantastic. This is very 90s to me. Early 90s. Exactly. Okay. Madeline Tosh. Completed. Now we're moving into the new bases that I'm bringing in, okay? These are new to the shop. Okay, so what I want to talk about is the brand. The brand is West Yorkshire Spinners. And some of you might have be familiar with that brand, and some of you might have never heard of that before. So I want to talk just a little bit. I'm going to share some information about them so that you can understand the brand. And that is West Yorkshire Spinners is situated in the original home of the British worsted industry. They create beautiful yarns with care, innovation, and expertise. They are spun in Yorkshire, so West Yorkshire, right? And their award-winning collections are designed to inspire the worldwide community of crafters. They were founded in 1997, and they have grown from commission spinning, originally, hand knitting yarns for some of the biggest names on the market, to launching their own brands. So primarily they were supplying to big names, like people who were spinning for high fashion. And then they decided to move into the hand knitting world and letting crafters like us, makers like us, be able to buy yarn from them. And so they pride themselves in their process, their craft, and their attention to detail. They have high marks and that kind of stuff. And they are very passionate about keeping the skill set of manufacturing heritage yarns in the UK alive. So they are highly sought after brand and they have high standards. Now they have quite a few bases and I'm starting off with just two to introduce you guys to that one, because again, I have a small space that I need to curate the yarns to, but also I want to bring you kind of what I know is, and I have tested and I love. So the first thing that I'm bringing in is their signature 4-ply yarn. Okay. And I have already received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their yarns, and I ordered 8 colors. So 2 of them are still, they're on back order because they're new colors. But I'm going to start off with these 3, and they have this collection, which is their kind of like their bird collection. And this is their signature 4-ply yarn. It is 75% wool, 25% nylon. It's 4-ply, which is fantastic. It's 4 strands of yarn that are spun together to create a 4-ply weight. And you get 437 yards out of this, out of a 100 gram skein. And this is a perfect sock yarn. So I have knit a pair of socks out of this yarn. And 1, this yarn goes a long way. And 2, it's very sturdy and very, like, it lasts. It's a hardy sock, we call it. But I also don't find it hardy, like scratchy. Okay. So it's a nice yarn. And the design, the ones I'm bringing are self-patterning. So you'll see, as I say these colorways, you'll see how they work out. So what I love about self-patterning sock yarn is that I don't have to do the work, really. I just knit in the round and this colorway grows on its own. And for those of you that know, I'm recovering from hand surgery. It's doing well. I won't pull the Band-Aid off so you can see the stitches. But I'm starting to knit a little bit and I'm getting some good amount of movement in my hand. So I should be fairly healed in a couple weeks. I can't lift anything heavy though, so I'm all left-handed right now. I'm building up that side of my body. So this colorway, love this colorway. It's called Kingfisher. Blues and teals and whites and this stunning kind of like orangey goldenrod color that goes through it. Kingfisher. This one is called Owl. And this is a great, I bought this one because I thought it's super masculine. So as we knit socks for the males in our life that are like not into the like bright color, some guys love that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But this is a really, and also I think I would like this color. Really understated, but beautifully, you know, there's greens, taupes, like a navy blue, cream. It's very pretty. So this is Owl. Then we have Wood Pigeon. Wood Pigeon is got these beautiful, I would say, mauvey purples and grays and a gray leading blue with some white. Very beautiful. So Wood Pigeon. And then there's 2 more bird colorways that I don't have right now that are on their way. Okay, so now we're moving into the holidays. They call it Christmas in July or holidays in July. I celebrate Christmas myself. I know not everybody does, but we all get festive around that time of the year, and there are quite a few holidays that are celebrated. And so I bought some colorways that help us kind of get in the mood. And also, if we're going to be gifting anything that we hand knit, we kind of have to start now, or at least thinking about it, right? I mean, some of us start at the beginning of the year because we're super organized. But if you're ready to start now, here's what we got. So the holly berry, very traditional red greens with a little pop of white. Gingerbread. This one actually is super gorgeous. They really nailed it with the gingerbread color. It's got this like burnt orangey brown with greens and reds and white. It's really pretty. And then this one here is a striper. So we've got this style, this one here, and I might not have a photo for it because of right now we're still waiting because this is a new color. brand new colorway for this year. This is the Candy Cane colorway, and it's a striper. So it's stripes. How adorable is this? I can possibly see myself knitting some. I don't want to put myself. My daughter-in-law might watch this video and go, "Oh." So I could possibly see myself knitting some socks for my grandkids out of this yarn, and they can all have matching socks. But don't hold me to it because I'm a busy lady. But this is a great colorway. Okay, so that's the signature foreplay. And as you can see, if you're into the sock knitting, this is great. But here's the thing. You don't have to just use it for sock knitting. I've seen people make shawls out of it. I've seen it being used for lots of other things. But primarily, with the self-patterning ones, they're thinking of you using it for a sock or for a hat. Okay? So Blueface Leicester is an amazing sheep. It's kind of one of my favorite. So, and I know that some of you guys are not very familiar with all the different sheeps and the different fleeces that come out, and that's totally okay because I still consider myself a beginner. I have a little bit of a leg up because I started spinning my own yarn, and you learn a lot more about what kind of fleece it is, what sheep, with the environment, what are the benefits, because every sheep breed provides different cons and pros and benefits to what they bring to us as knitters or crocheters. So the Blueface Leicester, this base, I'll just pick up one of them, is the DK weight. So this base also comes, or this yarn comes in an Aran as well, but I'm bringing in as a DK weight. It's a soft and silky yarn made with 100% Blueface Leicester in a range of evocative, natural, and undyed shades, as well as beautiful, rich tonal hues, each of which depict the depth and the captivating colors of the countryside and that surrounding us, for those of them in Yorkshire. Okay. The excellent stitch definition, for sure. This thing has a beautiful stitch definition. High quality nature of its wool can be displayed across all styles of knitting, from intricate cables and color work to simple lace and regular stocking stitch. This yarn really is one of the finest in Britain. Wool, at its purest and superb example of the incredible quality of British fleece, shows off its illustrious finish and beautiful drape on sweaters, shawls, and more. It's a mouthful, but it's true. So that might sound a little salesy, but it's true. So I have spun with Blueface Leicester. I have knit socks. I have knit sweaters out of this wool, and it is hardy. What I love about Blueface Leicester, it's like the stronger brother of merino. So merino wool is like a small micron. It's one of the softest. It is the softest breed of wool. Okay, we're talking sheep. Blueface Leicester is just a little bit above that, but it's almost as soft as merino. It's almost as soft. But it is super hardy and strong. It has a longer, what we call staple length. So merino has a shorter staple length, and that keeps it nice and fluffy and nice and soft. And Blueface Leicester has a longer one, but not so long, and it doesn't have a lot of crimping in it, that it allows for it to be very soft on the skin and soft to touch, and it gets softer the more that you wash it. But it just lasts longer too. So when we're talking about lasting longer, what I mean is like over time, merino will pill. The softer the yarn is, the more likely it's going to pill, is usually the terminology. So if I compare a merino skein of yarn next to a Blueface Leicester, they're similar in softness. Merino might take the cake as being the softest, but the Blueface Leicester is less likely to pill. Okay. Now, if we're talking about superwash yarns, that changes things a little bit, but this is not superwash, and there's a reason for that. A lot of us are trying not to use as much things that have chemicals in it, and also this is so great. Okay, guys, so West Yorkshire Spinners does not overprocess their yarn. There's a lot of damage that that happens to wool because they try to overproduce the wool. It goes in and out of chemical baths for like just to process it with a color sometimes. And then it goes in and out of chemical baths to make it superwash. And then sometimes it could be over wrung out or basically gone in a chemical bath to dissolve any what we call earth matter, or you might see like bits of straw or tweeds or whatever in your yarn. They'll usually just throw it into a bath of chemicals to absorb the organic matter so that there's none of that. But you know what happens to the yarn? It just loses its luster. It isn't as to me, it's not as healthy. And it's not as like off the mill, like out of the farm, which I think is super cool. So as we were talking, I just picked out a couple things that are matter, like literally like straw or matter, right? Now it's sanitary, don't worry. It's gone through some processing. It's definitely sanitary. But they have omitted the process of throwing it into some sort of acid to get the vegetable matter out. So when you knit with this, you might find a little bit of vegetable matter in it. I mean, I don't see a ton of it, but that's kind of cool because that means I'm working with something that's more like from the farm and not processed. And it doesn't smell really sheepy, but it's just a nice yarn. Okay, so let me show you the colorways. I gave you a little bit of that's what I like to do. I hope I can provide information that helps you become more knowledgeable as you search for yarns that you're looking for. I don't want this to be just like, come buy my yarn and here's your colorways, aren't they sexy? I want you to feel like you're learning from the base. I hope you guys know that about me. Okay, so this colorway, and I'll throw a picture up because again, the lighting could be throwing this off. This is Fellside. And one thing you're going to notice is that most of the fleeces, Blueface Leicester isn't blue. It's not a blue face. It's more of a black face. So the wool for Blueface Leicester can be between a white, a gray, and a black. And this is a black fleece dyed with this color, which gives it this depth. And it's just, let me get my face out of the picture. Look, it gives you this depth. It's gorgeous. Okay, so that's Fellside. Then we'll go into some green. This is Forest. It's a deep, kind of like an emerald green. My camera is like, no, I don't want to focus on it. Then we've got this beautiful, it's like a chestnut colorway. It's called Umber. Yeah, pretty. We've got this red. It's like a burgundy, maybe a cranberry colorway. It's called Berry. Berry. Let's see if I can get. It's beautiful. Then, of course, purple, because you know me. This is Bramble. Again, dyed on a black fleece. It's pretty. A gray, because we can always use a good gray sweater. This is Fossil. This is Ravine. It's a stunning blue. Stunning. And then a teal, which is Brook. And again, that's a pretty color. Oh my gosh. So these are all the colorways. Look how gorgeous this is. I would just knit like a color block sweater out of this. But Nicole, why did you bring this into the shop? Well, one, it's non-superwash. Okay, there's only, when it comes to wool, I think the only other non-superwash I have in the shop right now is the Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Light and Woolstock Worsted. The rest of the wool is superwashed, okay? Why superwash? Why not superwash? Well, there's a lot of things. Superwash is great. It is, especially for socks, right? But superwash removes the ability for the fibers to hold on to itself. So anytime you knit a sweater or a garment out of superwash, it will grow in length and it won't have the same memory, as much memory as it used to. Now, the bonus is a superwash is that it won't felt. Really, the only reason we superwash things is so that it doesn't felt on you. So you have to be careful when you work with non-superwash that you never throw it in your washer or dryer with heat, okay? But in general, when we work with nice wools like this, we don't really ever throw them in the washer and dryer. They should be all done by hand. So you never want to take like a non-superwash wool and throw it in hot water and agitate it. No agitation, okay? Just do your soaking, let it sit there and lay there and be happy, and then wait till the water cools down, or if you can use cold water if you're uber afraid of any felting going on. And then you can block your sweater or your garment or let it lay out and dry. But we don't want to introduce heat because it will felt. Wool felts when there's friction and heat. But a non-superwash sweater is light, is fluffy. Its memory it's beautiful. I mean, you think about superwashing didn't come into play until the 20th century. So all those people in the past weren't superwashing their yarn. They were knitting sweaters that lasted forever, that were super hardy, that kept people warm and dry and just happy as clams. They never used superwash. Superwash is kind of a new thing. And actually, the trend is leaning away from superwash yarns because superwash process is hard on the environment and can be people actually can have a reaction to superwash wool where they might not from regular wool, believe it or not. So, non-superwash wool is kind of my, I love knitting with it, and I love making garments out of it. In fact, going forward, for the most part, I would love to just knit with non-superwash wool for garments and like hats and, if I could. But there are times when I just fall in love with a yarn. And I'm going to have to make socks out of this. I'm going to have to. You know what I mean? But this is this wool yarn, and you have to see it in person because it is gorgeous. Okay? Okay. And again, I'm just going to say this. Some of you guys don't know this, but if you come into the shop and you would like a sweater's worth of something that we carry, and you don't see the amount of skeins you need, and maybe you want to match the dye lots as well, you can let us know and I will order it for you. And anybody that orders a sweater's worth, which is 4 or more skeins of a sweater yarn, I will also give you a discount on that, even if I order it for you. I will do that because I think you're making a commitment to make something nice out of nice yarns. You should get a discount on that, okay? All right, the last yarn I want to show is a new to the shop one. And this is by a brand called Amana. Amano. I was like, that didn't sound right. I was looking at the A at the end of the name of this. And so Amano is, most of the yarn, it comes from Italy. And I do have one yarn in the shop from this company, Puyu, which is the alpaca, 100% alpaca yarn for hats. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Super warm, super nice, but it's also bulky. But I wanted to let you know about this base, and this base is called Uma, and this is a lace weight yarn. So this is their little spiel on it. Travel on ancient paths of Asia, Turkey, and our native Andes to experience unique, crafted fiber full of the spirit of travel and ancient wisdom, blended from the ancient silkworms of China to mohair from the Turkish Ottoman Empire and our native Incan Suri alpaca. Bred for its noble properties, this yarn has traversed the historical empires to find its softest and most regional yarn, okay? So I wanted to bring a lace weight yarn that was something that you can hold with another yarn. So really what's really popular right now is holding a lace weight like mohair silk or alpaca with a fingering weight or a worsted or any weight you can hold this with. And it's obviously going to add some dimension to the size of the parameter of what you're knitting, but it also adds depth to it with a little bit of a halo, added more warmth. It creates a fuzziness to your knits that is very luxurious. And so I spent so much time trying to find the right thing to, you should see all the skeins that I've acquired to test out to see what I wanted to bring into the shop. I don't have a lot of space, as I said. So I wanted to bring something in one special, but also very affordable, and that you can't just get anywhere. And that's where Uma comes in, okay? So Uma is 37% baby Surrey alpaca, 37% super kid mohair. So we're talking the softest. So baby Surrey alpaca is a really soft alpaca, but baby Surrey is softer. Anytime you hear baby anything, it's like a baby's bottom. It's soft, okay? Super kid mohair is a baby kid goat. And then 26% mulberry silk, okay? So what you get is this really soft, fluffy yarn that has a nice halo, but it's not a crazy halo. Some of them kind of stick out and like poke you in the eye. They don't really, but I'm just making an example. So if I was just to pull one of these strands on, you'll see it gives you a little bit of fuzz, and this creates this beautiful, when you're knitting it with something else, it creates just a little bit of a halo. If you hold this double and knit with it, it will be like a fingering weight yarn, and it creates this gorgeous, fluffy, like you can make a nice like scarf out of it, or a cowl, or even these beautiful, you can knit a ranunculus out of this. I think we might have to do a ranunculus along, which is a beautiful sweater. It's kind of like a light, almost see-through sweater that you wear with a tunic, like a tank top or something underneath. Beautiful yarn. So I've got this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 colorways right now. So this one here, there's no official names. They're just colorway numbers, but this is 1977. So we've got this beautiful, it's like a teal blue. We're just going to do the blues right now. Then we've got this really pretty, I'm going to put these next to each other so you can kind of see the difference. Then we've got this kind of muted blue with a little bit of gray in it. Then we've got a vivid blue. I mean, like, for example, you can hold these two together. This would brighten this up a little bit, but it would create a really beautiful halo. Then we've got this kind of like a mossy, almost emerald green. It's not coming out as green as it is, but you'll see that in person. It's beautiful. Then we've got this pretty purple color. It's a lavender, a muted lavender. Then we've got this pink that is a little on the oranger side. It's just really pretty. Like I would say it's like a mauvey moving to the coral. Like, it's pretty. And I've got a neutral, off, kind of like a tan, but almost a off-white, and beautiful. This look, when you take, I don't have any yarn in front of me right now, but if you take like a fingering weight yarn that has, like, that's just kind of classic white off-white, and you add this to it, you get this beautiful, like, 50s style, gorgeous sweater. But anyways, gorgeous color. And then last but not least is this unbelievably awesome red. And it's actually coming out darker in person. It's almost, it is vivid. And if any of you are red lovers and you wanted to knit a hat that was like the halo on it that was super cute, or you wanted to knit a sweater or a cowl or a scarf that you just wanted to look luxurious but also pop of color red, this is the most beautiful red mohair silk yarn I have seen. It is stunning. So it's like red lipsticks red. It's just gorgeous. So those are the yarns that I'm bringing into the shop, and there will be more coming in the future. I'm always trying to bring new things. And I know some of you are going to go, well, can you know, if there's something in the shop that you want me to explain why I brought it in and what you could knit with it and what suggestions, please put that in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Because I'm just recently starting to do this whole video thing, and sometimes you catch me in the shop and I'll explain what I would use and why I would use it. Sometimes in our knit nights, I mention what I'm bringing in and why. But yeah, let me know if this is helpful for you and if you enjoyed the content, and if there's anything else that I can add to this section for the shop, just let me know. I appreciate you taking your time to watch this, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy making!